There could be a potential purge at the FBI in the next few hours. Acting leadership faces the deadline of noon Eastern to hand over the names of agents and employees connected to the January 6th investigation to the Department of Justice. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane is live in Washington right now to tell us more about this deadline and what's supposed to happen, Scott. So just explain to our viewers how this is impacting headquarters in Washington, D.C. We know how it's impacting some of the field offices. You've reported on that. So what's to happen in the next couple of hours?
Just a day of turmoil inside the nation's foremost law enforcement agency. That's the simplest way to put it. It's the most straightforward way to view it. There are thousands of FBI employees who had some fingerprints on these January 6 cases because it was the largest criminal investigation in the FBI's history and involved more than 1,500 people being arrested. The names are being compiled into a list that is to be turned over as the afternoon begins here in Washington, turned over from the acting leadership at the FBI to the acting leadership at the Department of Justice. And the Department of Justice has made clear in the memos reviewed by CBS News, these names, these people could be in line for employment actions, which raises the possibility and raises fears there can be widespread resignations or widespread firings, because these agents and these employees were part of the January 6 cases. And Vlad, you may be asking, well, what kind of misconduct would warrant firing or forced resignations? There really has been no misconduct found by the courts involving any investigator in January 6.
Wow. All right. What is your sense, Scott, from speaking to your sources about how the leadership of the FBI is complying with this or perhaps pushing back? I don't even know if they can push back, but what are you hearing?
The acting leadership of the FBI in there on a temporary basis after the former FBI director, Chris Wray, resigned, stood down, retired to a degree before Trump took office. The acting director has tried to soften some of this to his employees, to the rank and file, and some of the memos he's sent, reminding his employees there is a robust process, his word, robust process in place before employees can be terminated or disciplined, reminding them that there are protections for some of these civil servants. What's more, he has been arguing that he, too, is among the listed names that's going to be provided to the Department of Justice's leadership, softening the blow of all this. But there really is no avoiding the damage from this investigation, no matter if there are mass firings or not, Vlad. The fact that these agents have been investigated or that their names are going to be named for being part of January 6th sends a chilling message. Be careful the next case you take and make sure it does not displease President Trump.
I was having a conversation with somebody about exactly that, Scott, which is that this is setting the tone for what's to come at the agency and across all federal agencies. But could we potentially see FBI agents arrested? Or because, as you know, it's been reported by other news organizations that folks who received that letter saying that they had to resign their positions at certain federal agencies. In the case of one person who actually took the resignation, nothing has happened. So is this much ado about nothing other than the turmoil that you've described? Or could we see legal repercussions for people who do not comply?
The uncertainty is the problem right now. They don't know if there's going to be mass firings or none, and that's quite a difference. And they don't know which sense. They don't have a sense as to which one it's going to be. Here's a few things we do know. There's likely to be legal challenges from some of these FBI employees if there are mass terminations or forced resignations. Lawyers have already been lined up to represent some of these FBI employees. Expect this to go to court if the Department of Justice pulls the trigger. We also know that the FBI doesn't just investigate January 6th. So many of these agents are part of task forces that combat child sex trafficking, gun crimes, counterterrorism missions. There's an awful lot to be lost if agents are removed.
Fascinating and incredible. Scott MacFarlane for us. Thank you very much for your reporting, Scott. Appreciate it.